Standard operating procedures is a set of step-by-step instructions compiled by an organization to help workers carry out routine operations. Trying to recover from homelessness requires a person to completely rewrite their personal SOPs from the ground up by themselves, with competing, contradictory, and often false information that they have to perform as help. When you're homeless, you can't rely on the worldview that you were born into. It betrayed you. But you still have to perform it. The conflict between this lived truth and required performance breaks you again and again. So you're tasked with figuring out both contradictory truths. So isolating, because nobody gets it but you. This bottom-up SOP overhaul has to happen at lightning speed. Bills cycle monthly and paydays often don't happen until 3 weeks after hire. So while rewriting SOPs based on faulty information, you also have to be able to give 20 to 40 hours per week to employment, which has to be a top priority because America is pay to play in every way. So rewriting SOPs plus 40 hours a week, whether employed or employment seeking, then let's add the all day, everyday struggle to locate food, cook food, locate water, bathroom, shower, assuming that they're all in perfect health. The real world contrast is that about half of the unhoused have disabilities. So rewriting SOPs plus 40 hours a week plus a 24/7 hunt for something to eat and a place to be, assuming that they don't have a disability. Did I mention you can't leave your belongings? Yeah, so that means carrying everything, every layer of clothes it takes to make it through the night, any food that you might have, and if you're lucky, maybe a bike, a suitcase or a backpack with your items for hygiene, a charger for the phone that it takes to be able to job seek or set an alarm for work or communicate about anything. If you're lucky, extra clothes so you can sometimes wash them, but if you leave anything unattended, the city will steal and toss them. You have to take it to do your washing. You have to take it to your work, where they'd rather fire you than stumble over things covered in dirt. You have to take it to relieve yourself, and you have to take it to shower. You have to take it to where you sleep, although they stack you like towers. You have to take it with you as you trek all day for food and avoid a world of hazards. That means at the grocery store, where they assume that you're stealing, or with you to church to say a prayer while you're kneeling. All of these places recognize you as unappealing. So rewriting SOPs plus 40 hours a week plus 24/7 hunt for something to eat and a place to be, assuming you don't have a disability, while always packing everything. You still with me? Great. Now let's talk feet. You don't have transportation, so let's face it, you don't keep that job. That didn't work out, so you'll need to start those SOPs again from the ground up. Everywhere you go has to be traveled by foot, packing all of your belongings because there's nowhere for them to be put. You were at work when the laundry was available, and where you sleep there isn't a shower available, at least not during the hours you were working, so they tell you that your smell has become a thing. You weren't able to get deodorant this week, also because of the hours you were working, and the only work that you could find was a pay in cash, but they stiffed you. So what? What you gonna do? They know that they can use you for a few weeks' labor, then discard you without so much as a thank you for the favor. One form of human trafficking. When you're lacking employability, they chew you up till your flavor is gone, then spit you out and tell you you're wrong. And you have no choice but to take every opportunity that comes along. Of course, I'll join your roofing crew. I'll understand. I'll be the dishwasher because you have to keep me out of view. I'm no stranger to cleaning rooms. Do you have any other jobs for me to do? Really, I'm desperate, and I'm hungry too. Because you couldn't make it to the food bank, because they extracted your labor while they stiffed you. Then someone offers that you can sleep on their couch, and you do anything to get your feet back on the ground, or to have some place to keep your things and not have to haul them around. But that couch comes with lots of drama and expectations that you can't meet, and it leads to your displacement. So then it's back out in the cold, or a shelter if you're lucky enough to sleep with the mold. It's better than the mice that come from having nowhere to store food. Don't worry, we'll come back to that later, when they blame the mice on you. Someone says, hey, I know a place where they let you keep your stuff. A buddy of mine just got into a house, and he owes me one. You can't afford to say no. So you pack it up and you go. And then he tells you to be thankful. And you are. So you give him a blow. And a currency is established from which you can't escape, and you learn fast you don't have the right to say no. In fact, they get off on the rape. You're not allowed to ask questions, and they aren't afraid to beat you. I mean, you don't get to have a job. You get to do what they tell you to. How are those SOPs going? Now you drop that 40 hours a week, and that blocks you from the help you need, which only gives more power to the trafficking. You can't pay for minutes on your phone, and you're not allowed to leave the house when they're not home. Unless it's an approved outing with a chaperone. It's easier if you can convince yourself that you're in love, because then you resist less and end up less beat up. If you try to argue or fight back, they put you in your place. And since you never leave, they don't care if they leave marks on your face. They humiliate and degrade you, belittle and berate you, and continue to rape you. You do what they make you. So let's see, where were we? How are you doing with those SOPs? Have you developed procedures for spending time on your knees instead of getting beat? It's a different ball game than the one at the LRC, or on the street, or looking at an eviction notice in defeat. You don't have to carry your things anymore, because nothing belongs to you. Instead, you carry the shame of all the things they make you do. You dissociate, medicate, reprobate. You don't make it out of that. That's just not how it works. Trafficking is effective, and it makes your soul hurt. It affects your self-worth. Let's scrap those plans and go back to the LRC. Let's pretend that you were never offered that place off the street. You still get fired from every hire. Food is a priority. You learn pretty quickly. Just because you work doesn't mean that they'll pay. The best you can do is minimize the wear and tear on you. Is eating really worth the walk across town carrying everything too? They'll ban you from the LRC if you have anyone else watch your things. It's a ball and chain that makes being shackled look easy. Each time you pee, it's a gamble. Really, each time you meet a need. It's your home, but you're told you can't be there. Whenever the cops interact, all you want is a moment of peace. And you pray that each day will pass. What they once did with encampment bans is now tickets for trespassing. Either way, they're criminalizing your being. Now you have a ticket because there was nowhere else to go. And you can't keep minutes on your phone. And you can't get there. So you get a failure to appear. And if you do, you get fined. Where do they think you're supposed to come up with the money each time? Now you've got a record. Now you're a problem. Now they'll be gunning for you. Like being hunted by goblins. If you can't pay or didn't show up, that's all that they need to blow up your whole life, because now you're doing time and all of your things are gone. You still have nowhere to call home. And they charge you for the time you spend in jail because you couldn't make enough ends meet to pay that fine to begin with, and your debts become endless. When they do let you out, there's still nowhere for you to be, and you've been banned from the LRC. So you sleep by the creek. It's so cold. And you're scared and alone, but if you're lucky, you'll hide well enough, and they might leave you alone. By the way, how are those SOPs coming along? You'd think you'd feel more free, but there's still nowhere to pee without being seen, so you hold it until the risk no longer outweighs the need. And when you finally go, you get a ticket. And they say that you were masturbating, another ticket, another fine, another court date missed. And the cycle is endless, and you're defenseless, leaves you senseless. Every type of help you get is not quite enough to get up, not quite enough to stand on your feet. Not quite enough. It's not quite enough. So what should you choose when forced to pick between a shower and food? Or clean clothes, or keeping the rest of the things that you own? When you can't even use the food bank because you've got no address to give, and you don't have anything to cook the food with, and every time a promise is made to light something up, they just take it away. Looks like you'll be doing overtime today. Writing those SOPs is its own full-time job. So is seeking resources. So is dodging the cops. So is all the travel by foot. So is hauling it all. And that's if you don't have a disability. That's if you don't have a child. That's if you don't get sick or hurt. In fact, these examples are all mild. Exhausted from your 40-hour workday, you're told that you're being a louse. They talk about you like a menace, like you don't deserve to sleep on a couch, or the chance to process the traumas of falling through the cracks, living as evidence of the love this city lacks.